Hi, we are going to look at some order of operations with negative numbers, and I've taken a couple questions off of the practice test to go over with you in case you missed it in class. Now, we've taken a lot of things and put them all into one here. We've got a subtraction, we've got a multiplication, we've got a subtraction, we've got another subtraction, and we have some parentheses and we have some brackets, so we need to figure out, using the rules of order of operations, what are we going to do first? So I look inside the brackets and I work inside the brackets first, and inside the brackets I work inside the parentheses first. So the trick here is I'm circling the one step that I'm going to do, and I rewrite everything exactly as is, including parentheses, including brackets. And I leave a space right in here for the one step that I'm going to do. Now, I'm going to do this calculation with 1 minus 3, and I get negative 2. Now I look back and I determine what is the one step I'm going to do in the next line. Well, I'm still working inside the brackets, and I have a negative 2 minus 4 inside the brackets, so I'm going to do that next. I'm going to rewrite everything as is, including brackets, signs, everything, except for the one step that I'm going to do inside the brackets. So negative 2 minus 4 is like negative 2 plus negative 4. And sometimes if I write that down, that helps me. So that's going to be negative 6. Now I determine what is my next step going to be. Well, I have a subtraction and I have a multiplication, so order of operations tells me I'm going to do the multiplication first. So I do the multiplication, but before I do that, I'm going to rewrite exactly what's left that's not part of the step that I've circled. Now all I have to do is fill in the empty space beside the 6 and the subtraction sign. So I have 3, and I multiply it by negative 6, which gives me negative 18. Now I've got a 6 subtract negative 18. I subtract an integer. Subtracting an integer is like adding its opposite. So I'm going to take 6 and I'm going to add the opposite of negative 18, which is positive 18. And that gives me a simplified version of this expression as 24. Okay, let's try one more. Now this is a substitution problem, and with a substitution problem there's one little trick that will help you get the right answer, or give you the best chance of getting the right answer every time. Every time you see a variable, replace it with a parenthesis first. So I've got a negative sign and then an n, subtract 2 multiplied to an n. So everywhere I saw an n, I replaced it with a parenthesis. Once I've replaced it with the parenthesis, now I can substitute my n equals negative 4. So everywhere I see an n, or where I've put a parenthesis, I'm going to put a negative 4. Now I'm going to use my order of operations to rewrite and simplify this expression. I'm going to start off at the very beginning. I have this term here, and this guy could explain this as negative 1 multiplied by negative 4, or I could say the opposite of negative 4. Either way, I'm going to get 4. I try not to do too many steps all at once. I try to do one step with each line, and if I do one step with each line, it may take me a little while, but I will step by step march my way down to the answer. Now I've got 4 subtract 2 times negative 4. Order of operations says that I should do the multiplication first, so I'm going to circle the part that I'm going to do in the next step. Before I do that, I'm going to rewrite exactly what is left that is not part of that step. That's the 4 and the subtraction sign. Now I'm going to multiply 2 times negative 4, and that gives me negative 8. Now I just have to subtract an integer. And when I subtract an integer, it's like adding the opposite of the second number. So it's like adding the opposite of negative 8, which is positive 8. And we can simplify this expression to 12. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation.